भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, Thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto Thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us feel our true self, the innermost, deep, unchanging essence of our existence. One way to do this is to abstract all shapes and the names associated with them. I am not this body. When I see I am not the body, then I have no birth, no age, no death. I have no gender. I am not bound to a place. Thus, I see I am all pervading. I am not the mind either. I have no pleasure or pain. I have no fear. I have no attractions or repulsions. I am bliss itself. I am free, ever free, ever perfect. Let us concentrate on this true, all-pervading, essential nature of ours. The all-pervading, infinite. I am bliss itself. I am peace itself. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. I will begin with a prayer from Rigveda. Om Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Manasi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Samano Mantra Samiti Samani Samanam Manasah Chittamesham Samanam Mantram Abhimantrayeva Samane Navo Havisha Juhumi Samani Va Akuti Samana Hridayani Vaha Samanamastu vo mano yathava susahasati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The general meaning of this prayer is: let us march together, let us speak in one voice, let our minds be alike, let our aspirations be alike, let us think the noble thoughts together, and may our minds be united in that ultimate pursuit of the existence. Om, peace, peace, peace. So today's topic is connected with this urge that everybody has to form connections and thus get, the idea of we comes from there. I and you, let us join together. It is we. It becomes on various different fronts. And there is this tendency to come together and instead of then one individual, we have a group of individuals. Sometimes the biological urge brings us together, then we come together as a family. It is, instead of then saying I, we live there. Instead of just saying I live there, we live there. It becomes a unit, we. When our political aspirations means everybody has an aspiration to govern, and that manifests as the political aspirations. I want to govern. And the reason for that, as Vedanta tells, is because we all have the governor of the whole universe, God, in us. And that prompts us to govern, to rule. Only thing is, we never are able to do it caught in a limited body. But still, that forces us in a way, in a mistaken manner, let us put it like that, to form group and then try to rule the others who are not members of this group. It is we rule. So we come together for political aspirations, form political parties, give political declarations, like the famous Declaration of Independence. It begins that we consider some truths to be just inalienable. It is that we is the concept that comes on that front together. Then we have this like-minded people with the music association. You like to listen to music, you like to perform music, etc. Then so we form together as an association, a club, come together, and then it becomes we. We here in this context means this music club. We are send a letter to a performing artist. We are inviting you to perform here. What is this we? Members of this club, this music association. There is the Association of American Psychologists. So it is those who practice, study, etc., that psychology, then they come together, and it is a psychologist association. There is the Association of Accountants, that association of all certified public accountants, all CPAs. They come together and form association, and so forth. There are everybody with some commonality tends to come together, and this is, you see, an unmistakable aspect of our life, coming together and becoming we, I. Although we will see that there are contradictions involved in it. We show up, but this part is there that we come together, and I tends to then associate with many and then becomes we. And as we saw, on various different fronts, this keeps on happening. It is, and let us see how Vedanta explains this happening. This is the Vedantic psychology. all aspects of our life has been echoed in the philosophy of Vedanta, that it is all our mental aspirations, struggles, the tendencies, and what happens with our mind and how we deal is all shown by Vedanta, that it has this background of this perception, wrong perception of the universe. Because of this wrong perception, mistaken perception, we have this division. And we come across in all Vedanta discussions that we perceive this division, I and the world. We perceive a break, as it were, in the reality. And we have discussed this many times before, but let us again remember Shankaracharya mentions that all our actions, everything, the actions physical or mental, the actions that are related even to the spiritual practice, they all are based on taking this division to be there, I and the world. This division is there in all our dealings, whether they are our worldly dealings or these so-called spiritual dealings. Everywhere this break in this one awareness, like the earlier slide we saw, that Vedanta says the truth is the Atman or the Self alone is. That is what is. But we do not experience like that. This is the experience of the sages. Yes, the Self alone is, as is described by many Upanishads. That, like, for example, the great statement, the very first statement of Aitareya Upanishad, that Atma va ek eva idamagra asid nanyat kinchana mishata. Atman alone was there in the beginning, nothing else. In the beginning means before the break due to ignorance happened. It is a psychological before, not a historical before. Before the mind, before you perceived that I and the world, there is this Self alone. The break is not natural, break is not real. It is an illusory break, where now we see I and world. This is the perception of everybody, I and the world. And then we have to note this, that this break is illusory. And the reason for this is quite obvious. You can never tell that where I ends and world begins, or where world ends and I begin. There is no way of drawing a line. And why? Because it is all the two divisions you can see are constantly shifting and changing. What I labeled as I, soon it becomes world. It is, for example, look, this is hand. I say hand. This is I. But then I am seeing it. So this is not the seer but the seen. Just like I am seeing these microphones, I am seeing this hand. So it cannot be I, it is world. Suppose it gets cut and then is put out there, it is not connected now through the nervous system to you. It is, well, now not I, it is world. So therefore it is all very difficult to tell where is I and where is world, and why it is impossible to tell is because this is an illusory, erroneous erroneous distinction, I and world. And then there are the various reactions of this erroneous perception, and one of them is this we. This I thus has always craving for expansion and preservation. It is, they are actually contradictory, expansion and preservation, but our psychology is never logical. It is all conflicts. The one emotion conflicts with another emotion. Whatever is illogical, it still is in our mind and appears to be all correct. It is many psychologists have deliberated on that how whatever we may understand, our behavior has all these contradictions inbuilt, so to say. So therefore, it is this tendency to expand and yet to preserve. Both are seen. And thus, it is in the tendency to expand and protect. This we appears. For both these purposes, expand, connect. We becomes an expansion and extension of I, because that the whole universe is actually truly the true I, the true self, and so I wants to occupy everything, and therefore this expansion, first step in that expansion is it becomes we. I gets connected to other I on some basis. On various bases it gets connected, like the biological attraction is one basis, and thus you get connected as bodies for the purpose of that fulfillment of that desire, and thus then you have for the social order maintenance, then for that due to that drag you have the family and so forth. So that is we, a unit. On basis of it is the biological drag. So that makes it we, a family. Now there are other ways that it is, you have the we discussed it, that your desire to have say music, you then connect with the all like you, and then make an music association, we, the poker players association, everything, the Alcohol Drinkers Association, and then there is AA, how to get free from that. That again becomes an association. We. So many ways, two or more eyes connect to fulfill common or complementary desires. So we all become thereby enriched in a way. Our resources are pooled together, and we feel thus expanded. And then there is another purpose for this I, that to protect from other groups. The other I. There are like two associations. It is that one association is there, but then somebody else starts similar other association. Now they come to loggerheads. It is so what happens is now you are for protection now. You become now anti or against the other association. You see this in businesses. It is again coming together. We let us form partnership or a company and so forth. So now some other company, now you go and run in competition with that. So the interest of this we and that we, they kind of clash against each other. So we see that. Now it is, as I mentioned earlier, it is dynamic. So the members of one group we keep on changing and shifting. It is within this one, say, we group. It happens like that subgroups get formed. That is again a psychology, that I see that although we are all in one group, let me give, because that is most illustrative example, and since now the elections are over and all that, nobody will derive any political implication from what I am saying. There is none, friends. It is, say, you have one party, one political party. So we and they, Democrats and Republicans. So we, they, it is. But then within this one party, you see that the one person sees the other person, although it is together as party, it is we. I and that fellow do not think alike. In fact, in some issues, I find more, the sympathy by some member of the other party. So now, on such basis, subgroups get formed. So we have therefore centrist Democrats, the left-leaning Democrats, ultra-left-leaning Democrats, right-leaning Democrats, and so forth. Now these are the subgroups. Same with the other Republican Party. Same with every group. This is the psychology of we, that it is there, but yet we want, even in a family, that yes, that husband, wife, together are, but then but then each wants sometimes its own space. I want my space, not together. Okay, you manage yours, I will manage mine, that's it. There is we, in many cases, just becomes for the purpose of IRS filing, we are one. Uh, somebody was telling me the other day, it is so peaceful when we two, family, are not together. Then it is peaceful. If together, it is always a fight. So it is togetherness is there for IRS purposes and so forth. This is nothing odd about it, nothing to be, one need not wonder about it, because this is built in human psychology, that there are two individuals can never have everything common. And also there is all that there is we, but I is not gone. So there is I separate from that other I is there, and sometimes one gets concerned, am I taken advantage of? Is the other person taking advantage of me? Oh, I should not allow it. It is so. There are always, like every building, after some time you see the fissures start coming, one wall, you see a crack. In my room, there is a crack there. So it is now, that is how the things that are looking one, they have some that breaks there. So this is how we kind of breaks, you see. So different groups thus get formed. You get associated with some other these things. You change your political party, and thus it all keeps on happening. That you form alliances on the political front because of the wars. Let us fight the common enemy. We all know that for this Second World War, America and Russia, they were together, fought the war together. We are allies. A lot of cooperation, help with each other was there, sharing intelligence, all that. But then, soon, they, at loggerheads, it is the terrible that it is the Cold War that lasted for long, and not that it is completely over even now. This is again psychology, friends. Just as an individual is a psychology, has a psychology, the group has a psychology. So that is why you see this, that from those four together, the two form a separate group, other form a separate group. There is a saying in that Bengali, that they quickly form separate groups, very easy, because of certain individual traits. What happens is, there is a group, we are working together, we are together in this. But then I don't feel safe with those people. They are not caring for my interest. No, those are not good. So I form another group. And then it is close by here, it is, please friends, I am not blaming anybody, but I am showing this psychology that is at work. That there is the Durga Puja. Now Durga Puja is a very commonly observed festival in Bengal. So everywhere, but especially in Bengal, it is a big thing. And so, wherever there are Bengalis, they come together. So let us have a Durga Puja celebration properly. But then they form we, I become we. Let us come together and celebrate the worship of Mother Durga. But now in that group, some different thoughts come that, oh, no, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. No, I cannot be part of the group who thinks like this. I will have a separate Durga Puja. Come on. And then they begin their group. So, in this small that state of Massachusetts, there are several Durga Puja groups. It was one committee. Now then, it becomes we. It is quite natural. The Communist Party, it is the very word means a commune, a togetherness, a brotherhood, communist. So, long back it happened, and it was so amusing that in India, the election authority had published the list of the political parties, and there were about 14 or 15 different communist parties which wouldn't see face to face. It is, no, they are bad. It is, so they would go to murder because it doesn't just stop there. That, okay, those people have to be taught a lesson. Enmity erupts other, means the gui, this gui and that gui. It is all, yes, we are together, we are united, but not those people. They should be kicked out. It is like that group comes. No, we. There was a nice political slogan. One very popular speaker, he had a political party, and he announced that, okay, we have this plan. Those others who want to join with us, we will go forward with them. If some do not want to join with us, we will go without them. And there could be some who would be opposing us. We will fight and destroy them and move forward. So that is how this we, for that certain interests, that many I, come together. This is all the psychology, because actually there is no difference when you see the intrinsic nature. That is where this idea of unity is springing from. It is this unity is the basic important idea in Vedanta. This I, whether it becomes we like this or not, it has to become, that is the psychology. There won't be any satisfaction or any sense of fulfillment. The torment will go on because this is not the way to really reach the desired peace or fulfillment. This is the expansion of the your existence, but still keeping the break. I and you. It becomes just we and you fellows. So it is the whole dynamics is going in the completely wrong direction, and therefore it has to result in wars, external or internal. The war with guns or the war with pens, whatever, but it will be a war. The two groups, they will keep fighting. In the religious societies, it happens everywhere that yes, ours and theirs. In India, that is, there are those groups, Shaivites and Vaishnavites. We were having a discussion at our breakfast table this morning that there are Shaivites, there are Vaishnavites. Now we and they, it is, so we are always superior because I am the best. How we are superior to others? Because I am superior to everything. I can never be wrong. So we are superior. We cannot be wrong. They are at fault. So this happens in religious organizations, Shaivites, Vaishnavites. It is, and then the enmity, it becomes a crystallized, concrete enmity. The Shaivites would do exactly opposite what Vaishnavites would do. The Vaishnavites would put that vermilion mark vertically like that. Shaivites would put it like this, because no, what they are doing is not right. It is in some movies it was shown. It is exaggeration, but not too much of exaggeration. That you should always follow the Vaishnava custom. The Shaivites, let them brush their teeth like this. Vaishnavite would be brushing like this. It is funny, but it is all that the furtherance of this we against the other we. This is not going to have peace. Even in religion, you have all these differentiation, although the essential of religion tells, look at the divine. Look at the all-embracing oneness, the God, and to go to connect to that instead of having be against them. No. So, I would like to read a passage from Swami Vivekananda's that very well-known lecture in Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is it is a collection of talks by Vivekananda on the development of Upanishadic thought. So these lectures were given in England. Then a few lectures given in America were added to that. This is a lecture given in England, and this is titled that God in Everything, based on that Ishavasya Upanishad, God in everything. So, and I am quoting here, this is another great theme of the Vedanta, this oneness of life, this oneness of everything. We shall see, now interestingly, again the word we here means all that are there in the audience and the Swami speaking together, it is we. We shall see how it demonstrates that all our misery comes through ignorance, and this ignorance is the idea of manifoldness, this separation between man and man, between nation and nation, between earth and moon, between moon and sun. Out of this idea of separation between atom and atom comes all misery. But the Vedanta says this separation does not exist. It is not real. It is merely apparent on the surface. In the heart of things, there is unity still. If you go below the surface, you find that unity between man and man, between races and races, high and low, rich and poor, gods and men and animals. If you go deep enough, all will be seen as only variations of one. And he who has attained to this conception of oneness has no more delusion. What can delude him? He knows the reality of everything, the secret of everything. Where is there any more misery for that one? What does he desire? He has traced the reality of everything to the Lord. The center, the unity of everything, and that is the eternal existence, eternal knowledge, eternal bliss. Neither death nor disease, nor sorrow, nor misery, nor discontent is there. All is perfect. All is perfect union and perfect bliss. That is then the real all-embracing we. There is no need for the word we there. It is all the self. So it is here you can see that the I reaches the main purpose for which the association, the we was being formed. That unity gets attained. So, let me continue. There is no one to mourn for, no one to be sorry for. This person has penetrated everything. That God has penetrated everything, the pure one, the formless, the bodiless, the stainless. That person has become now united, one with God, and thus sees that, well, I am in everything. This becomes the awareness of that person, and therefore cannot hate anybody. The hatred is absolutely gone from such a life. So it is, he has penetrated everything, the pure one, the formless, the bodiless, the stainless. He the knower, he the great poet, the self-existent. This is just translation of a verse in that same Ishavasya Upanishad, that he who is giving to everyone what he deserves. They grope in darkness who worship this ignorant world. These are all again translations of the next verses. That so how to attain to it, that is described. That okay, work with this understanding. Don't work just without this understanding. That kind of work will put you in more darkness. And just having this awareness but not putting into work will put you in more darkness. So work with this awareness, and thus you will go beyond this ignorance and attain to the ultimate truth. So this is how we will come to see that yes, in all this the Atman alone abides. it is, and the person sees that the one who is in the sun is also here. That being who is moving in the sun. This is also the same verse in the Kathopanishad, the next verse, that says that, well, beyond this relativity, I now am able to see that I am seeing that and see that that one is same as I. There are no two at all. And thus this man, this person, this individual becomes infinite. There is no separate I left, no we left. So this psychology of we, if it is seen properly, it is truly the desire to get that infinite awareness. It should be directed in towards that. Otherwise, there will be just the formation of groups and then the fight between the groups and also the fight within the group. Even in one person, we see that it is we, not I. Swami Yatishwarananda therefore mentions in his book, are we really individuals? No, we have, it is each of us is like, there is the brain, intellect, that is one entity. The emotions is another entity. The activity tendency is another entity. So, thinking, feeling, willing, these three, they are clubbed together as we. That becomes this I, so to say, I. But it is really we, these three different tendencies. It is we, the three as it were, bundled in one. And they are at loggerheads. This is it not our regular experience, friends, that our emotion drags in towards something and the intellect drags towards opposite something. And then our physical activity, it chooses a third course. And thus, we see there is the internal fight. Within the we, within the group, there are internal fights. And this what we call as an individual. There also is this internal fight going on. Should I follow my intellect or should I follow my emotion? An individual, therefore, is tremendously at stress. That is one of the reasons for the stress problem that is faced by people. Will we not be stressed? Imagine, it was the condition like the tug of war. Have you seen that game? That it is some people are pulling the rope in that direction, some are in the opposite direction. As a game, it's all right. But then the rope is always under tremendous stress in this. So our personality is always stressed, being pulled in opposite directions all the time. And that is also the reason that the end result becomes that I cannot do anything. So one feels depressed. It is that depression is also a direct cause. It is directly caused by this idea of we, but not having this satisfactory coexistence. They are fighting with each other, and one comes to see the depression. So it is therefore very important to see that this practice to feel the self, feel the God, has to be uh, enhanced in life. It should be initiated and it should be intensified, enhanced, so that the attention will be not to form groups but connect to that reality which includes everything. It is the abstract unity of all existence. You become one with the supreme existence itself, and thus this need to connect to others goes away. You are never lonely. The one another reason for becoming we is you feel lonely as let me connect to somebody else. It is that happens. So few people feel lonely and yet want to be left alone also. What a funny contradiction, that it is leave me alone, but I get bored if I am alone. So it is all these problems go away when you see this ultimate oneness, experience it, and thus transcend these limitations, become full of the divine bliss. So, thank you, friends. Let us pray that we get inspired to follow this path to illumination. Uh, we will meditate on this for half a minute, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to voice them. Yes, please.
Swamiji, there is a web question here from Shapna Roy. Maharaj, you are very right. Me as a Bengali, I think it is better to belong to all different groups. Unity is everywhere if we could find it. Maharaj, what is your suggestion?
Well, that is to connect to God. I made that suggestion that instead of identifying with just a particular group of people, find the connection to the purpose of life and the God who fulfills that purpose. That is the suggestion.
There is a comment from Charles.
Yes.
Replace I with we, and illness becomes wellness.
Oh, well, that is a comment, but that is, as I showed, it is not always true. It is, that is true in language. I and we replaced. It's a very nice statement that I becomes illness. We, and then same that suffix added becomes wellness. Very amusing. Thank you.
That's also.
Yes, Sharada.
The message of this lecture really calls to mind that verse that comes in Astavakrita Gita, where
What?
the 7th chapter in Astavakrita Gita,
Yes.
where King Janaka says, "In me, the limitless ocean, let the wave of the world rise or vanish of itself." That's kind of what I take out of this, that all the water droplets of that wave are the different I's and the different we's, like all part of the same energy, so where we got that?
Yeah, that is correct. The droplets becoming united is one thing, but one should go to the source, that it is the ocean, and there we find every drop finds fulfillment there. That's correct. So, I will tell you about the upcoming programs. Yes. So, coming Sunday, that will be in next month, December 6th, the topic of discussion is balancing act. It is balancing act is the name of the topic, not that what I do here, but that it is the title for the lecture on coming Sunday. Then the Tuesday, Friday lectures will go on as usual. On coming Saturday, there will be a day-long meditation, being the first Saturday of the month. And we are friends, all the other programs as mentioned in the flyer announcements go on as usual with their limitations due to the COVID. They will be followed, and if the situation changes, we will also have to adjust to the new situation. So it is one has to bear that in mind. So let me now have the closing prayer. Let us recite. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Now there will be Arati, and then today being Swami Vijnanananda's birthday, there will also be, after the Arati, a special birthday song and biography reading.
Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adored by all, we adore you too. Stainless Lord, assuming human form. Stainless Lord, assuming human form. Transcendent yet filled with love. You free us from the stain of sin and ornament our world. Consciousness is your form. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Your eyes always purified by knowledge. Look infinite love. Your feet always dear to your devotees. Your feet always dear to your devotees. From our boat to cross this world, revealed to us as God incarnate and the Lord of all things, helping us join with you. Your mind's always set in the divine light. Your mind's always set in the divine light. This we can see through your grace. Destroyer of our worldly sorrow and compassion, so infinite is a word. Your life's offered for the world's deliverance. Your life's offered for the world's deliverance, saving us from darkness and fear. Renouncer of all lust and lucre, therefore you were always spurning sensual life. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Lord of monks, you are the best of men. Grant to us pure love for you. You're fearless and you're free from doubting, with your mind very firmly resolved. Causeless refuge of your devotees. Causeless refuge of your devotees. Renouncing caste and birth. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even sightedness. You give love and even sightedness to remove our anguish here. Our treasure is your holy feet, which take us very soon across this puddle of life. You give love and even sightedness. You give love and even sightedness to remove our anguish here. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heartscape. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Greetings to you, O Lord, beyond both speech and mind. Yet you are the basis of both. O Lord, yet you are the basis of both. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Great light of all lights, blazing in the heart's gate. Darkness is destroyed by your light. O Lord, darkness is destroyed by your light. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Langa ranga bhanga, these are all the sounds of mridanga. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Spiritual songs devotees are singing for your worship divine. Jaya Jaya for your worship divine. Hara Hara for your worship divine. Shiva Shiva for your worship divine. Breaker of all our worldly bondage and adore thy all. We adore you too. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Auspicious and blessed graciousness sublime, all noble ends you give to us, granting us refuge, all-seeing Gauri. O Mother Divine, our love to you. Creation, preservation, dissolution are your powers, eternal one. Nature's real basis, nature's essence. O Mother Divine, our love to you. We come seeking refuge from anguish. Be our Savior through your deep concern. All our suffering remove, Goddess. O Mother victory, O Mother Divine. All love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. All love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. All love to you, Blessed Mother Divine. All love to you. Jai Shri Ram Krishna Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sarda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Ki Jai. Jai Shri Buddha Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jesus Christ Ki Jai. Jai Shri Swami Vijnanananda Ki Jai. So, the direct disciple song for Swami Vijnanananda ji, we'll repeat that line. Jayo Jayo Rama Krishna Bhuvana Mangala. Jayo Jayo Rama Krishna Bhuvana Mangalo. Jayo Mata Shama Shuta Oti Niromalo. Jayo Jayo Rama Krishna Bhuvana Mangalo. Jayo Viveko Ananda Paramo Dayalo. Prabhuro Manosho Shuto Jayo Shri Rakhalo. Jayo Premanando Prema Mayo Kalebaro. Jayo Shiva Nando Jayo Lila Shahocharo. Jogi Joganando Jayo Nitya Niranjana. Jayo 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 Rama Krishna Bhuvana Mangala Shiva Para Jogi Bara Adbhuto Anando Abhedo Anando Jayo Gato Mohabandho Jogorato Tyago Brato Turiyo Akyato Sharato Shudhiro Shanto Jano Gano Nakho Jibe Shibo Sheba Broto Gangadharo Biro Jayo Shri Vijnanando Proshanto Gambhiro Jayo Shri Vijnanando Proshanto Gambhiro Prodhano Gopalo Matri Sheba Parayono Sharoda Sharoda Pade Gato Prano Mono Jayo Jayo Ramo Krishna Bhuvana Mangala Baloko Charitra Jayo Shubodho Sharolo Nago Baro Tyago Biro Viveko Shambalo Kathamrito Borishana Gauro Jalodharo Girisho Bhairava Jayo Vishasho Akaro Ramo Krishna Dasho Dasho Jayo Shabakaro Ramo Krishna Leela Sthano Jayo Barombaro Ramo Krishna Namo Jayo Shravano Mangala Bhakto Vanchito Jayo Charano Kamalo Jayo Jayo Ramo Krishna Bhuvana Mangalo Jayo Jayo Ramo Krishna Bhuvana Mangalo. A short biographical sketch of Swami Yogatmananda. Birthplace, birth name Hari Prasanna Chattopadhyay. Monastic name meaning one who is immersed in the bliss of proper knowledge. Birthplace Etawah, Uttar Pradesh. Birth date 14th day after full moon of the month of Kartika in 1868, which happened to be October 30th. Education, Hare School in Calcutta, St. Xavier's College in Calcutta, Fine Arts, Patna College in Bihar, BA, Pune College of Sciences, Engineering. Hobbies, collected fountain pens, tea sets, pocket knives, pocket watches. Religious influences. In youth, saw a wounded monkey fold hands and utter Ram Ram. First meeting with Sri Ramakrishna. First saw him at a friend's house as child. Then in 1883, while in St. Xavier's College, went to see him with classmate Sharat, that is Swami Sardanand. Hari Prasanna was born the eldest of 6 children. His father travelled frequently with the British government job. His mother returned to the family home in Belgharia to raise the children. From childhood, Hari displayed a passion for truth and portrayed religious temperament. From youth, he believed that monkeys are devoted servants of Ramachandra and that they die repeating the name of Rama. Both his mother and sister scolded him seriously when they found that he was visiting Sri Ramakrishna, calling Sri Ramakrishna a madman and that he deranged young men's minds. He totally ignored them and visited Sri Ramakrishna during college when possible. For some time, Hari did not visit Sri Ramakrishna and was asked why he didn't come. He replied that he didn't feel like coming and that he wasn't able to meditate. Sri Ramakrishna transformed him with a touch. From then onward, he had deep meditations, visions, and saw the light of Brahman everywhere. Hari read an English book to Sri Ramakrishna that stated, Speak the truth. Do not covet what belongs to others. Control your senses. This brought Sri Ramakrishna to elation, who felt that if anyone followed these 3 disciplines to perfection, that person would surely reach God. Sri Ramakrishna also told him to never get involved with women, to never look at them even if made of gold. He did not want his character stained, that he had a lot of work to do for the Divine Mother and that he belonged to her. He didn't show up for a college examination in order to give a poor classmate friend a chance to get one of the top examination grades for a secure job. After taking his degree of LCE, he joined the government services and rose in the course of a few years to the position of a district engineer. By that time, the monastery at Baranagar had been founded, and the monastic disciples of the master often became his guests. The flame of renunciation, however, that had been kindled in him by the master was burning within him, and he found it impossible to remain in the world for a long time. Even as an officer, Hari Prasanna was taciturn, would mix with few people, and remained in his bungalow absorbed in his own thoughts. But his colleagues and assistants were surprised at his uncommon degree of integrity as well as his strictness in regard to the discharge of his duties. And those who came into close touch with him revered him almost as a god. Such was the force of his character, pure, spotless, and at the same time humble and unassuming. Hari Prasanna joined the Ramakrishna monastery at Alam Bazar in 1896. When Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897, he and Hari visited old Hindu temples at Rajputana, and Vivekananda discussed his idea for the future Ramakrishna temple, which Hari then designed. In May 1899, Hari took formal vows and then became Swami Vidyanananda. Swami Vidyanananda started a center in Allahabad, a spiritually important city in that three rivers converge there: Ganges, Jamuna, and Saraswati. Most of his time was spent in japa, meditation, and study of Vedanta. He spoke little and avoided unnecessary contact with people. Preaching was not his style, yet his austere, God centered life attracted many. He was called Bishop of Allahabad by Swami Vivekananda. Vijnanananda followed Sri Ramakrishna's advice to the letter. He was known for punctuality. If someone had an appointment and was even 1 minute late, he would not see him. He would not engage in chit chat or gossip or allow others around to do so. He dressed in unusual fashion with a long, many pocketed shirt, a knee length dhoti, a couple pair of socks, worn out shoes, and a cap. He would be looked at with curiosity and he would remark, "Yes, so I am a monkey devotee of Ramachandra." His intense one-pointed disciplines resulted in various visions and experiences which Swami Brahmananda verified. He was strict about not having any female of any age come to the Brahmavadin club. Even his mother and sister were put up in guest inns where they visited. He was a pure soul who conquered lust to the degree that he stated he did not even see a woman in his dreams. This does not mean dislike or disrespect of women. He initiated many and told them to call on Holy Mother. That Sri Ramakrishna is very strict about bestowing grace, but Mother is very compassionate. Vijnanananda built a homeopathic dispensary, and after the physician resigned, there was concern for the unattended patients. So Vijnanananda decided to chant Sri Ramakrishna's name and administered medicines to them, having no knowledge of medicine but pure belief. All the patients became well, word spread, and the new physician was even amazed of the miracle cures. He visited many holy places, among them Chitrakut, where Ramachandra stayed during his banishment, Dwaraka, where Krishna lived, Rajkot in Gujarat, and also visited 3 holy Buddhist sites: Kelani Temple, Tooth Temple, and Bow Tree of Anuradhapuram. He also visited Lingaraj Temple in Bhubaneswar, Konark Sun Temple, and Jagannath Temple of Puri, among others. He installed the foundation stone of Ramakrishna Mission in Kanpur. He visited Rangoon, Burma, and meditated at the statue of Buddha at Pegu. He always went into a deep spiritual trance at these times that would last hours. When he heard that Prince Edward VIII renounced the English throne for marriage, he remarked, "A prince gave up an empire, wealth, honor, and everything for a woman. So a woman is greater than an empire, and God is greater than a woman. But who renounces all for God?" Swami Vijnanananda supervised various projects for the mission over the years, including the construction of the Vivekananda temple at Belur Math, but stayed mostly in Allahabad. After Swami Shivananda passed away in 1934, it was proposed that Vijnanananda become a trustee and vice president of the Math and mission. In 1937, when Akhandananda died, he became the president of the order. He was known as the hidden knower of Brahman and displayed behavior as depicted for an illumined soul that was many times contrary to social norms. He was also known for his great sense of humor. When students saw him removing several layers of top shirts, he replied that he was covered with several layers to protect others from seeing his Atman. A devotee wanted to listen to Krishna's flute, so he brought him out to the street where a steamroller was operating. He laughed and said that as Krishna does good for the world, so do steamrollers. These are a few examples. Swami Vijnanananda published several books, among them Sri Ramakrishna's Life and Teachings, translated from Bengali into Hindi, Jal Sarvaraher Karkhana, Engineering, translations of ancient Sanskrit astrological and astronomical works into English and Bengali, and was translating Ramayana by Valmiki into English, but this project was not completed. He left his mortal frame on April 25, 1938. Salutations to Swami Vijnanananda.